Hi, I'm Gary White for Central Kentucky Television. I'm here with Wilma Sorrel, and we're going to talk about a peaceful rally that is planned for Friday, or August the 21st at 6 p.m. on the steps at the Welcome Center at the old courthouse in Bardstown. And you are organizing this function, right?
With some other people. Yeah, there's several of us that have been talking about it for a long time, well, for a couple weeks, and we all said, maybe we should do something because people aren't getting the information out.
Now, the peaceful rally that you're having is actually to bring awareness about the proposed increase in the occupational tax for the City of Bardstown, correct?
Right. Well, currently if you go and look at your paycheck stub, you're currently, if you work in the county, if you live in the county but work in the city, you pay $75 max to the county occupational tax. When all this came about, Gary, I was looking at
the proposed increase?
The proposed increase. Right now, you're paying 0.50. The proposed increase is to go to 1.25, which is a huge step up. It's 0.75 increase, which could mean it depends on how much money you make is what you're going to be paying. So anyway, and I never understood all that until I got to looking at my paycheck, and I saw that for the year I've already met my obligation to the county of $75, but I was still paying to the city, and I'm looking at the total amount. So then I went and divided it up, and it was over $200 a year that I, as a county resident, am paying to the city. Well, that's before any increase. That's right at the 0.5. So if it goes up to 1.25, well, I'm going to say I'm going to be doubling. That's going to be $400, maybe $500 a year that I'm going to be paying to the city as a county resident. So after looking at that, that's why I was concerned.
Okay, so this proposed increase is being proposed by the city, and it would affect those who live in the city as well as those who live in the county. So it's anybody who works in the city of Bardstown.
Absolutely.
So
Restaurants, factories. If you're a hairdresser and you pay salaries, anyone that would pay a salary. I did ask the question in the city council meeting, do the people that work for the city have to pay this same increase? And I never got an answer on that. I don't know if there's an exemption. I have no idea because there's just too many unanswered questions on this.
Right. So you were at the last city council meeting, and that was when you brought this up for discussion, right?
Yes. Gary, I knew that was going to be brought up for a possible vote, and I wanted to be there, and I actually took several friends with me, and we raised some very important questions that, I am not against fire protection. Let's get that straight. I think we need it. But we had it.
Right.
Well, that's what the occupational tax he's wanting to raise the money for.
So Mayor Royalty said that he's looking to increase the occupational tax in order to help fund the additional revenues.
The new fire department for Bardstown. We did have a joint fire department that I think money was being pulled from the city, money was being pulled from the county. So now the county has to use revenues just for their own Nelson County Incorporated Fire Department. And now City of Bardstown, when Mayor Royalty decided that they needed to be split, my understanding was that and I did hear him say this in several different venues, that we have the money to fund this fire department. We can do this. We have the money. Well, then 2 months after the fact, they need to raise $400,000. Well, in looking at this proposal of 1.25% occupational tax, which is an increase of 0.75% on your dollars that you're working for, that would raise a revenue, according to Larry Green, of $1.2 million. Well, it was asked in the city council meeting, what are you going to fund with that $1.2 million? We thought you just needed money for the fire department. Well, the answer from Bill Buckman and Mayor Royalty was we will find things to use that money for. So according to Larry Green, 88% of the people, yes, he does work for the City of Bardstown as a financial whatever, but 88% of the people that's going to be paying this tax live outside of the city, whether that's in Nelson County, Marion County, Washington County, Bullitt, Hardin County, Elizabethtown, whatever, Louisville, all these people work outside of Bardstown city limits, or they live outside Bardstown city limits. So you're imposing a tax on 88% of the people who cannot vote for you to either be in office or be out of office. So that, to me, if from going back to my high school days on American history, that should be taxation without representation.
And they're saying, though, that since the facility where you do work is in the city, that's how the occupational tax comes about.
Well, and you know what? We've already got a point. You're already getting 0.5% of my tax dollars. But you're also getting, where we work at in the city, they're also paying a hefty tax to be in the city of Bardstown. So, and that includes their services for fire protection, you know, things like that. So I can't see where that balances out.
So the rally that you're having on Friday is in order to help educate individuals as to what they're being proposed. So at the last city council meeting, you were there and they were going to potentially vote on it. Did they table the discussion?
No, actually, it was interesting because I don't really go to these meetings because I don't live in the city, but I thought, you know, I need to be educated so I know what I'm talking about. So I walked in and I sat down, and then people from the floor had a chance and an opportunity to say something. So I immediately brought up this increase, that I did not think it was right, that I do agree that you do need fire protection, but I don't think that you went about it in the correct way. I think that throughout this, while speaking and while listening, they just were not very coherent with how this money was going to benefit the city. But you're going to benefit one group of people, but take away from another large group of people. So it just did not balance out, and the numbers did not balance out, and they had different scenarios on different taxes they could raise. But it was obvious that Mayor Royalty was very much in favor of raising our occupational taxes 1.25%, and also trying to lower the city property taxes. He kept going back to, well, I'm in favor of lowering property taxes as mayor.
So there was a proposal of increasing the occupational tax. Was the property tax a discussion, or was that actual proposed at the meeting as well?
It was a discussion, but I think this was the funny part throughout all that. No one had said that they agreed with raising the property tax 1.25. Occupational tax, I'm sorry. Except Bill Buckman, he said, I'm ready to raise it. Well, then Mayor Royalty right then said, well, now that we're under agreement, we need to go ahead and vote on this. And Francis Lydian, he said, Mayor, I don't think we're under, we have not agreed on anything. So he slowed it down, and thank goodness for Francis Lydian, Keisha Copeland, they slowed it down and were asking the tough questions that I don't feel like the mayor answered. And so that's when I come home and I was like talking to people. I was not happy, and we've got to do something. You know, I know that it takes one person, you know, from my other venues that I've worked at, it takes one person to talk about a problem. It takes two people to get the problem out there. It takes three and more to help solve the problem. So I'm looking for those people that, let's get in here and solve this problem. We can't keep dividing the county and the city. We are one group, and it just sickens me to know that we are dividing. Well, I'm not dividing, not we, but someone in the community is dividing the county and the city. And the parks, the recreation, the fire board, you go out to the park, Dean Watts Park, there's no bleachers. We've had a big tournament out there, and I'm hearing from a friend of mine that it was an embarrassment, you know, and so that's a poor reflection on the city going out and taking those bleachers out. You know, you have a plan. That's just, that's not right for our community. We do not want to live in a community like that.
So again, so it's going to be 6 o'clock at the Welcome Center in downtown Bardstown.
Yes.
The opportunity to learn some more information and to get informed on the discussion.
Yeah, I'm actually asking people to bring a sign. Make a sign, no occupational tax, nothing vulgar on it. I don't want to see any profanity. I don't want any, people cussing. I just think that we need to do this in a constructive and educational manner. And also, this coming Tuesday, August the 25th at 7 o'clock, the city council will be meeting. And I have a feeling Mayor Royalty is going to try to push this vote through. So I'm just telling taxpayers, this is your money. Don't let it become his money. We already are taxed enough. Let's try to get in here, get people flooding in there. I want you, if you can, call Mayor Royalty at 348-5947. His cell is 502 507-5372. Fred Hagan, 348-4738.
36.
I'm sorry, I just had my eyes dilated. I can't see. So Fred Hagan, again, is 348-4736. Bobby Simpson is 348-5224. Keisha Copeland, 502-310-7627. Francis Lydian is 502-348-5835. Bill Buckman, 502-294-0848. Roe Williams, 502-348-5433. If you miss those numbers, I think Gary will probably scroll them on the end for us. And you can also go to the City of Bardstown website, click on City Council on the left. I've been really on that site in the evenings looking for the past minutes, and they're not uploaded yet, and I'm just wondering why they're not uploaded yet. So you really need to call them and let them know how you feel about these taxes. This has been 8 months since Mayor Royalty's taken office. He still has 3 years and 4 months. What's going to happen in 3 years and 4 months if this has already happened in 8 months? We've got to stand together as a community.
Okay, so on Friday, 6 o'clock at the Welcome Center in downtown Bardstown, your opportunity to learn some more information or come out and discuss and share your thoughts on the process.
Yes, bring a sign and And I was told by Barbie Bryant that I couldn't hand out flyers, but I will have them available. I went to printed out a bunch at home. I'm going to printed out like 25 at home and handed those out to some businesses yesterday evening. But then I'm going to have these flyers for people to hand out in town. And I thought it was a good weekend to do it, Gary. We've got Buttermilk Festival. We've got the Sidewalk Sale Friday night. So we're going to have a lot of people downtown. And we're hoping to educate people on this. And I had a really good friend, Jimmy Higdon, who's a state senator. He said, Wilma, I get 3 phone calls and I know there's an issue. After that 3rd phone call, I know there's an issue. So call.
Yep, let them know. So again, we'll be on Friday at the Welcome Center in downtown Bardstown for a peaceful demonstration regarding the proposed occupational tax increase for the City of Bardstown. And I've been here with Wilma Sorrel.
Thank you, Gary, for having me on here.
It's been Gary White for Central Kentucky Television.